Welcome people to a quick one about writing in thirds. What does that mean, writing in thirds? Well, it's described in another book, which is in polishing your penmanship, writing in thirds. And I started to analyse the writings within this book, and I started to look at the templates, and I started to look at the way that it's written, and it's described in writing the letters in here. One that caught my eye was the lowercase h, which if I can find it here, which is not, there it is. There it is. If you look at the principles for the, it says here, which are the loop or extended letters, and h is there. But if you look at h, it uses a different grid system. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. 5 spaces. But then if you look at all of the letters that you see here, like the small q, the lowercase q, it's got 1, 2, 3 equal spaces. Can you see that? 3 equal spaces. But then the extended loop's got 5 equal spaces. But that doesn't make any sense if you want to transfer your handwriting and do it. You're not going to be carrying around with you a blank piece of paper and a grid system you're going to put underneath, are you, with 5 equal spaces. Do we do it to a 3 equal spaces or 5 equal spaces? Which one is it? I think, and then in the back of the book, these grid systems where you do all your practice work on, there's 7 different types of grids. It's not uniform. The grid system at the back, which you practice on when you start doing your practice here, say for instance these lines, this is a grid system, and you think, okay, I'm going to get this grid system. I'll zoom, I'll bring it up to you. There it is, and you can see that they're asking you to put your lines inside that in the big space here, and then you got these 2 upper space and a lower space, which is small. And then you're going to put it into these lines and them lines and then them lines. Fair dues. And then later on in this book, again, that's a completely different grid system to what we've just been taught on that side. And then, we'll just spin along, another grid system. We've got that grid system. So which one is it, where do we draw the line? And then after I think after that there's a, and there's the next grid system, which is another grid. Okay, the lines, but are we going 1, 2, 3? Are we 3 equal spaces here? Are we 5 equal spaces here? There's no guidance on that side of it, and that's where the book lacks a little bit, because then we get these massive lines to do the main these words are in, and then at the back, right at the back, we just get lines, Luke. So that's what I looked at, and if you read the lowercase h, I'll just read that to you if I can find it again. Come on, here. I'll read the lowercase h, small letters, so it must be the next one. I'll read you the h and then we'll move on to actually writing in thirds. I've already covered this before, but let's have a look at the h. Here, height. Height is 3 spaces. Width of loop measured horizontally, 1/2 space. Crossing of loop, 1 space above base. Entire width of letter, 3 spaces. Height of finishing part, 1 space. Again, but if you break it down into little tiny chunks, how far down the line do you go to being too technical and just trying to get it to form and look proportionally correct when you transfer what you've learned in this book or you've learned in this book? And this book talks about the writing in thirds. And if you imagine this line, imaginary line, as the red line, somewhere it's at the beginning of the book somewhere. I'll find it for you people. Give me a sec. There's the red line. They talk about it here, look, in the book. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There's the red line and there's the dotted line. The dotted line is where you're going to be putting it. So imagine these 2 lines here, these 2 spaces, this space and this space is the complete line, okay, of a line paper. And then the bit below it where you're going to be putting your ascenders, your descenders, your 2 descenders here of the F and the G, it will eat into the next top bit of the next line. writing in thirds. That's what it says, writing in thirds. And I think you could get away with doing this writing in thirds concept with writing Spencerian. So let's have a look at this. These I know are 8 mils. Let me just measure it down here so you can see it. Yes, they're 8 mils. So imagine this being our line. I'm going to do this very rough, people, but there's one line, there's 2 line, and you're going to write this extra line in here halfway. I did this before with my ascenders and descenders problem, but then you're going to have to write another line here halfway. Yes, that's going to eat in. If you do have any descenders coming from this line, they're going to eat into this, into the next line down. But if you do it halfway down, you're all right. You're writing in thirds all the way down the page. So let's do the word gate. Yeah, why not? So you come up, you're going to form the G. You're going to come down to this line here, come up, form the A, then come up. We're going to form the T and then form the E and out. And there's the word gate, writing in thirds. We could write in Yale, yeah. So Y, come down to that line. Then it's the A, and then the L goes up and over and in and out. And there's Yale. And again, if you look at this, that's gone halfway and that's gone halfway. And we're writing in that thirds perspective. I think that's how you're going to have to write this if you're transferring it over to notepads like this, or notepads like this. This is this notepad is 6 mils. But how you're going to be writing your Spencerian handwriting or handwriting style on notepads, aren't you? Exactly like this, with these sorts of line spaces. So writing in thirds, if you wrote like what they want you to do, as in 5 equal spaces, let's do it for crazy speak. There's 1 space, there's 2 space, there's 3 space, there's 1. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want this one. I did that very rough, people, very rough. But then this will be your writing line then. 1 space would be here. So these 2 here, right, is 2 equal spaces. These 2 here would be 2 equal spaces. You get that? So then your G, we write gate again. So we're going to come up, we're going to form this bit. I'm going to come down 2 spaces and over to form then the A to the T to the E. That's a big gate, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I don't think this works. Or that was for the H, wasn't it? So let's do the H. I think it did this, one big long thing, and then Spencerian is over, yeah, like that. And that's there. That then would be your Spencerian H. Do it again, please, so you can see it. You come up, you come down, you go over and out, and that's a Spencerian H. Going with 5 equal spaces, top to bottom. That's crazy, people. Whereas if you wrote this H in thirds, it would look like this, roughly. 1, 2, 3. Again, you do this. And that's writing in thirds. That works for me. But is it this pen that's doing it not justice? Let's try a different pen. Let's go with this pen, which is my favourite. Let's write that thirds again so you can see it. When are we there? Yeah. So we're going to go a bit. This is a finer pen. A very finer pen. Get it halfway. You've got to do it in your head like type of thing, haven't you? Yeah, you got to do this writing in thirds in your head. You're not going to be drawing the lines, but writing in thirds. You're going to come up, and you come down. You're going to go over and out, and that you're writing in that third perspective or third line perspective, in my view. That way, then you can just go for it. Do you know what I mean? once you get that third perspective, and then that way then you can keep writing on all of these lines along the way. So writing in thirds is important if you want to transfer your Spencerian handwriting or other types of handwriting. The book does do a great job in teaching you how to write in Spencerian, but then when you start talking about the guidelines that they're showing you, there's sort of like 7 different types in the book. So I looked at it and studied it, and I'm going to write it. If I do stuff in paper like this or the pad, I'm writing in thirds, people, because that just worked for me. So if you have watched this all the way through, thanks very much. I just wanted to touch on the template system and guidelines and how you're going to transfer it over to notepads. Do you know what I mean? What would it doesn't matter on plain paper, but we're doing it on notepad like this with these 8mm spaces or even 1 centimetre spaces. Just write in thirds, people, and you're good to go for ascenders and descenders. Write in thirds. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for either copper plates C grind, or I might start the Spencerian capitals. So I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye now.